Hello friends, today we are in 1 Corinthians chapter 8. So he starts off right now and he says, now when it comes to food sacrificed to idols, this is what you're supposed to do. And you know, he doesn't give the clearest answer that you might hope for, but I will give a little bit of context here. So back then, so they're in Corinth, and you know, it's a polytheistic culture. So they believe in a lot of the Greek and Roman gods of the day, and there was a belief that you sacrifice this animal to this god, and then the people would eat the meat. Now the understanding would be that part of that deity would be in the meat, and then when they would eat it, they're kind of like consuming part of the god. You know, they're kind of like accepting the god into their system by consuming this meat. And so Paul is writing to them, and he says, look, we know that there is no other god, that these so-called gods they're nothing. They're just statues. So when you eat the meat, it doesn't do anything, you know, so there's no issue here. And so, you know, it sounds pretty cut and dry, like go ahead and eat the meat. There's no issue. And then he says, but you have to be concerned about the people that don't know that, you know, and they see you eating the meat, and you know, it may make them stumble. And you know, I think it's difficult in our culture to understand this, but this isn't a passage that just doesn't apply to our life today. You know, in many other cultures, I mentioned yesterday that I went on a mission trip to Bosnia a long time ago, and this really was an issue because they were in a Muslim culture, and in that culture, you know, the Muslim people would sacrifice an animal, and then it was kind of part of a big feast. And so there's a church there in Bosnia, and they're trying to figure out, now, is it all right for us to partake in this festival? And you know, the church really had to think about it, because to them it's like there's this worldview that's dominant in their culture, and they need to set themselves apart from it. And so, you know, in one sense they could say, you know, they're getting along with their neighbors. In another sense, it might look like they're falling back into the cultural norms. So it's really difficult to navigate. He said something interesting. He said, you know, you can give up the rights that you have, you know, the freeness you have, you know, the freedom that you have in Christ. It's not a bad idea to give up this freedom that you have in Christ to partake in this for the sake of other people, you know. And it really reminds me of what Jesus did for us. You know, he didn't have to die for us. You know, he gave up his rights so that he could die for us. And so, you know, if you're going through the world and there's something that you're doing that could make someone else stumble, you know, the best example I can think of that would apply to us is, you know, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews where people are, you know, part of Alcoholics Anonymous. And, you know, I don't drink alcohol, but, you know, I like the fact that I have the freedom to do it, but I choose not to. And I like the idea that people do struggle with alcoholism, that they could always come to me, you know, they could always be with me. You know, they don't ever need to feel the pressure to you know, to drink around me. And so, you know, you could say in Christianity you have the freedom to do what you want in that area, but you know, I personally have a conviction that I shouldn't. So, you know, that's a way that you can use this passage. And I'm not saying that you should do one thing or another. I'm just saying that in Christianity you have the freedom to do this or that, but if you're going to make someone stumble, someone around you, some person that you dearly love and is a brother in Christ, you know, it might be a good idea to stay away from those things. So that is 1 Corinthians chapter 8. I hope you have a great day. All right, bye.